Mobilization, back mobilization part 3. So having worked through stages 1 and 2, you should be feeling a lot more flexible through your back, better at doing kind of side bends and rotation through the spine. We've worked primarily from being on the floor, and we're going to start to build in some standing movements as well gradually to increase your strength through your back. So we're starting off, always as a benchmark, just seeing where your upper back is. Bend your knees, take a little twist from side to side, keeping your hips square. So turning your head, and your chin is kind of level with the crisscross of your wrists. So keeping the hips really nice and still, just turning. Just note and see where you go. Note whether you feel tight on one side more than the other. Like when your hips start to automatically move, you know you've got a bit more tightness in the side. So turning. Do about 8 to 10 of those and just kind of gauge how you're feeling with those. Then we start to come into a little bit of mobilization. So we're going to start with some side bends, lifting up, little side stretch, come back into the center, breathing in. The whole time you want to keep the line from your pubic bone up to your belly button straight, and the bend comes from your rib cage, so it's stretching up. And then back down, reaching up, stretching to the side. Breathing in, breathing out. So you're thinking about lengthening your spine with your in-breath, and as your out-breath, opening up through the thoracic part of your back, the upper back. We'll work on the lower back in a minute, but we're just kind of easing segments out bit by bit. Again, do as many of these that feel nice for you. Maybe you want to go for 8, 10. Good, so that we've kind of opened up the upper back a little bit more. Now we take into the curtsy like we did before. Little side stretch and open up. Breathing in as you breathe out. Lift and open. Breathing in as you breathe out. Again, you've still got that same straight line, belly button to pubic bone. And again, play with a few more of those just to kind of mobilize. And then also just a nice little one, turning from side to side, just letting your hands wrap around your waist. So we're kind of letting the shoulders release, encouraging the shoulders to soften a little bit, encouraging the thoracic back to move slightly, and also just turning through your hips as well, so the hips stay quite loose. We're not over twisting the spine, but we are encouraging a little bit of twisting movement now. Again, do those 8 to 10, whatever feels nice for you. And then we're going to come down to the floor. So we take it down to cat and cow. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. And you're just going to start, first of all, by just pushing the tailbone back, reaching your fingertips forward and dropping your head. So you want to let the shoulders come down, you want to let the tailbone slide down towards your heels. If you want to do the previous tailbone, pulling the tailbone under and then releasing to create that length through your lower spine, you can. So as you exhale, tuck the tailbone under. As you inhale, lengthen the tailbone away. You should actively feel your chest sliding down towards the floor each time you do this as you release any tension through your back. Take a breath in and then you just lift up onto all fours, and then as you exhale, just sit back to your heels. So you make it a little bit more dynamic. Inhale, lifting up, pulling your belly button towards your spine. Start to activate your core. As you exhale, we come back down. Inhaling to lift, pulling belly button into spine. Exhaling, coming back down. Inhale to lift again. And this time we're going to play with cat and cow. So we start with a basic cat and cow, and this is when we kind of gauge where our movement is. So breathing in, tucking the tailbone up, ribs drop, shoulder blades shrug back down your spine, and then you lift your eye gaze. And then tucking the tailbone under, rolling through your spine, come right up to the shoulders and then drop your head. So by isolating the spine before doing the head movement, we engage the upper back muscles and the lower back muscles a bit more. Breathing in, tailbone tucks, rolling down through your spine, drawing your shoulder blades, actively slide them down. It's not a pinch, but it's like sliding it down the outside of your ribs. Lift your head. Breathing out. At last, breathing in. Out. Just do a couple more of those, playing with kind of rolling up and down through your spine. But the key thing is to think about is, if you find that you're very tight in the upper part of your back, just thinking about drawing the shoulder blades back and down is going to create a little bit more mobility in the upper back to give you that big stretch through the shoulders and that nice drop through the spine as well. From there, we're going to just play with having our little side twist. So you're going to turn the bum and head towards each other. So you get a little crunch through the side and then breathe back into the centre and then turn the bum and the head. So breathing into the centre, breathing out to crunch. Breathing into the centre, breathing out to crunch. Let's go for one more time, each side. If you feel any discomfort, then you want to avoid this movement and just stay with the tailbone wagging still as well. So you have an option just to wag your tailbone if you need to, or even move your tailbone and your shoulders at the same time. From there, if you need to just sit back, release the wrists. If you haven't met Django, this is my boy cat. He's not normally this active during my sessions. And then we're going to bring our hands back down and we're going to come into our rolling cat. So imagine your rib cage is in the centre of a barrel, just like we did in the previous video, just going to roll up and down. But this time I want you to think a little bit more about using the head and dropping the head. Lifting the head, dropping the head. So rolling your ribs round that barrel, seeing as each part of your spine can touch the top of the barrel, seeing your ribs can touch the side. And then try the other way as well. You might find the other way is a little bit more clunky. And using your breath. Going as slow or as fast as you need. Again, if you need to sit back and release the wrists, come back, have a little wrist release, stretch out if that feels nice for you. Great job. And then we're going to take it into a little bit of core work now. So we're going to come onto the back. And the thing about having strong core means that we're going to look after our back really nicely as well. So previously in the brief videos we've been doing lifting up and touching back down, lifting up and touching back down. You may have even started touching the toe down and back up. So I'm going to give you 3 options to play with today. First option is to draw the belly in, feel the space between your ribs and hips shorten, relax your shoulders and tuck the chin into the chest. The more relaxed this is, the more this is going to work. Breathe in as you breathe out, you bring your knees over your hips. So if you want to do the previous version of keeping one foot on the floor, you can, or you exhale, inhale, exhale through the mouth, inhale through the nose. See if you can keep your shoulders relaxed, your fingertips really relaxed. And now if you're at a stage when this feels relatively easy for you, try just switching the legs. Keeping the space here shortened, stacking the knees over the hips, and keeping your shoulders relaxed and your neck nice and long. Go for about 5 or 6, have a little rest in, and then do it again a couple more times with breaks. It's not about how many you can do in one go, it's about just building up gradually and coming to where you go. Key thing to note, apart from the cat making a lot of noise, is that when you drop the leg down, the aim is just to keep the leg at 90 degrees as you drop down. Land your feet. And then if you need to have a little roll up to release, you can. And then roll back down. So that's your first move. The second one, we're going to play with stabilising the hips through the core again. So breathing in as you breathe out, lift the knees over the hips, relax your shoulder blades down, pull your belly muscle in. This time the leg comes out to the side and back into the centre. So one knee is pulling up to the ceiling and the other knee is tapping out to the side. We're drawing the belly in, so we're holding this tight, and this keeps our hips really nice and close to the floor. So it's a small movement. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. If this feels a lot for you, press one foot on the floor, exhale, inhale, change feet. Exhale, inhale, change feet. So you can choose where you want to go with this, but that way we work the core nicely. From here, you're just going to roll yourself up, and we're going to start to move ourselves towards standing. So let's come into psoas stretch. Taking 1 foot forward, you want to square the hips down towards the floor by squeezing the thighs and sink in. So you get that nice stretch here. Take a big breath in, reach up, feel your ribs slide away from your hips. Then as you breathe out, we want to reach the arm over the opposite leg. So you're getting a really nice stretch up the side of the body, over the hip. Breathing back into the center. This time we're going to reach the other way. So we get a stretch through the side of the body. You may be able to touch the fingertips down, but the key thing is your spine shouldn't feel compressed. You should feel like you're lifting out of this. So you might just want to be here. Just that side stretch. Coming back into the center, and then your hamstrings may be tight. I think it's always good to get into a hamstring stretch when you can. So maybe breathe out, breathe in. If you find this is quite tight in your hamstrings, maybe stay with your hands on your hips. Or if you've got yoga blocks, you can have them either side, so you've got a little bit more support. Do about 4 or 5 on each side. So again, when you switch legs, again, just double check if your hip lifts, squeeze the thighs together, drop the pelvis under, lifting up. We do our first set of reaching over to one side, and then we'll reach over the other. Again, if you're doing the reaching and you've got a block, you can rest your hand on the block so you're higher up as well, less pressure on your spine. Coming back into the center, and again, if you want to, hamstring stretch, stretching into the psoas. Coming to wherever you feel comfortable. Just notice if you lift your chest when you're coming forward, you get a better stretch through the front of the hip, as opposed to down here. And then drop your head, and then you get a nice release down the top of the neck and the spine. Okay, so we're coming into a standing roll-up, which is something we've been avoiding so far. So you're going to shift your way into your heels, walk your hands in and land your heels on the floor. Now your first option is to rest your hands on your thighs. Draw your belly in, push through, and then tuck your tailbone under. So the tailbone comes under as you pull in through the belly, and then you press through your feet and you roll up through your spine until your shoulders, head and chest are there. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, you tuck the chin in, roll your hands, tuck the ribs down, and then you slide the hands down to your knees. You can use them to support, or if you feel comfortable, you can even slide your way all the way down, bend the knees a lot, drop the head. Inhale as you exhale. You can either play with just bringing the hands to the thighs, or maybe you can think about pushing through your feet, pulling your thigh muscles up, tucking the pelvis under as you pull in the belly, and then rolling up through the spine. And again, as you exhale, let the head drop, shoulders drop, pull in the belly, slide your way down, bend your knees as much as you need to find comfort in your spine. So you've got various options you can play with, and you might just want to do 1 or 2 of those, or you might want to feel comfortable doing 3 or 4. But the key thing is maybe start, if your back feels stiff, start with your hands on your thighs, play with the rolling up and down with your hands on your thighs, and then see if you feel comfortable rippling up. By tucking the pelvis under and drawing the belly in, we're taking the pressure out of the spine. So as I tuck under, you can see that I've got a nice lengthening here, then I can pull and ripple up. The other thing is to use your feet. As you push through your feet, you'll contract your leg muscles upwards, and this will help pull your body up. So think about moving from feet upwards to help you look after your back. So we've come to standing, we've done our roll up and roll downs. We're just going to do some seated glute stretching today, because back issues sometimes we get a lot of tension in the glutes, which can then hold us in a kind of tight, the glutes are tight and they're pulling you back. It's going to put pressure on the back, same as if your psoas is tight and it's pulling you forward, you get that rounded back.
So we're going to take it into some glute stretching. You can sit cross-legged. Now this all depends on your hip mobility. Fire log, which is one foot under the other, and we'll stay with that for the time being. There is a slightly more advanced stretch, but I think this is probably enough. So you're going to breathe in as you breathe out, bring your fingertips forward, draw the belly in, and then you just lengthen yourself forward. So if I do this from the side, I want you to be mindful of where your spine is here as well. So we want to be lifted and long. So you pushing the tailbone down, so the tailbone is coming down towards the floor. And then you're drawing the belly and the upper body is lifting out. So you've got two directions. Your shoulders are going that way and your sit bones are going that way. And by drawing that combination, we're pulling in, we're lifting, we should get a stretch, possibly here, possibly down the outside of your IT band, glutes. Taking a breath in, and as you breathe out, just come to wherever you feel. But the main thing is you're not putting loads of pressure on your lower back. If you're here, then just lift it out. We want to think about finding that length. From there, we're then going to take it into the quadratus lumborum, which is kind of the side muscle, well, it's just above the glute. Breathe in as you turn your chest over the foot and lengthen down. Again, we want to think about having this nice long spine. So if it means you stay up here and just lean forward, that's great. Again, we think of two directions. Bum cheek moving down, shoulders moving up. So we're lengthening through the spine in that way. Coming to where you feel comfortable. Again, you might feel a slightly deeper stretch on one side now. I know I can feel it here. Coming out, you want to spend about 20 to 30 seconds in each stretch if you can to really get the benefit. And then from here, what we want to do is get into the hip right here. So we're working into the internal rotators. So you're using the hand to roll the leg outwards towards the floor. So you're rolling the hip down, and then we're just leaning away from it. So we're creating that space down here, but also deep into that groin. So you're kind of pushing down. Remember to use this hand to lift you up so you're nice and long through your spine and there's no compression. If you find this is uncomfortable on your knee, you can always play with moving your foot. So try moving the foot and seeing if you feel any different. It doesn't have to be in the same position. If you're cross-legged, you might literally want to just move your foot outwards. So wherever you are, just think about changing your foot position if it feels better for you. And then we change sides. So you're going to go to the other side, cross-legged or stacking, up to you. And again, we take a breath in, you draw through the belly, you fold forward. Spend about 20 to 30 seconds there. Come back up, so you reset your spine, turn your rib cage, and then move yourself over. Again, notice the difference, whether you've got more tightness on one side or the other. And if you do, maybe you need to spend a little bit longer there. And then you come back into the center, and you're just going to press the thigh out, so you're feeling release, lifting up through the side of the body. So you're rolling out. And again, if you need to adjust the foot so that your knee feels comfortable, then do. Good, release out. So we've worked through the hamstrings a bit, we've worked through the glutes, hip flexors, quadratus lumborum, psoas. We've kind of worked all the way around this area. Also done quite a lot of rotation through your upper body to release. So now we're just going to roll it onto the floor. And we haven't previously done these before, but I would say is have a couple of cushions to hand. So you've got some support. You're going to start by rolling onto your back and just bringing your knees from side to side. So you're releasing, just seeing how your back feels as you move your knees to side and rolling through your hips. And then when you're ready, start to make it a little bit bigger. Make sure you're comfortable. Have your cushions to the side, arms in a T shape, and then just gently roll to one side. So I would go with having as many cushions, go higher rather than lower. And then if it feels too easy, you can always take a cushion away. But that way you're supported enough to feel a gentle stretch down the back, but also you're not overstretching. The other thing to bear in mind is just check your hips are in line with your shoulder. Sometimes we tend to move the hips forward and we get a rounding of the spine, which kind of changes the twist slightly. So you want to keep nice alignment between your hips and your shoulders. Stay there for about 20 to 30 seconds, and when you feel ready, breathe in. As you breathe out, pull your belly muscles in and come back into the center. Reset. Hug the knees in. Have a little roll. Feel the length of your back against the floor, and then we do the other side. So again, moving the cushions to the side. Arms in a T shape, and then drop the knees to the side, feel the opening. Again, check you've got that line from your tailbone all the way up your spine to the crown of your head. So we've got a nice long line. And again, just breathe, find where you feel comfortable. When you're ready to come out, after about 20 or 30 seconds, inhaling, lifting up to the center, and just hugging. Good. Take a breath in, you're going to roll all the way onto your side and onto your front. Just do a little twist through the spine, through the shoulder this time, so reaching the arm underneath. You can either shift the hips backwards or forwards. Here is a deeper shoulder stretch, and here is less. And then try coming into the center, sitting back, so you get that long line through your child's pose again. And then take it to the other side, sinking under, stretching and releasing. Coming back into the center, just tuck your toes under, shift the weight into your heels, chest to thighs, let your head drop, so you've really, hopefully noticing you've got a little bit more mobility through your spine. And then when you're ready, breathe in. As you breathe out, roll up, all the way back up to the top. And then I always like to do just a little movement at the end, just to see how my spine is moving, how my upper back is moving. So take a breath in, bend the knees as you breathe out, hold your rib cage, breathe in as you breathe out, hold your rib cage, and hopefully you should see some difference. There we go, well done. Apologies for the noisy cat scratching and wailing.